I would like now introduce our presenter today. We have Shawn Towne with us, and Shawn's amazing. I was just with him a couple of days ago. He has more than 30 years of experience as a licensed esthetician and cosmetologist in editorial, film, television, and high fashion runway makeup. And today, with the help of his lovely model Charlie, he's going to teach you about the new Jane Iredale PureMatch Concealer. Without further ado, Shawn, take it away.
Thank you, Chrissy. It's such a joy to be here with all of you. Welcome. Again, my name is Shawn Towne. I'm the Global Director of Education and Artistry for Jane Iredale. And I've been really honored to work with LovelySkin for quite a while now and collaborate with Jane Iredale and LovelySkin together. And it's such a great marriage of brands. And I have to tell you, I've never been as excited to do a presentation as I am today for our new PureMatch concealers, because this product is really just blowing away everything for me. It's a fantastic concealer that has so many different uses and a wonderful deck of ingredients. I think you're really going to love using it. So I'm gonna share my screen. Charlie, as you can see here, is my model. So we're going to come back to Charlie in a minute. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to share the screen so that all of you can see what she looks like, or what the product looks like. So can everybody see my screen quite well? Chrissy, does it look clear? Can you see that?
Looks perfect.
Excellent. So what I'd like to do is just talk to you about some of the features and benefits, first of all, of Jane Iredale, the brand, for those of you who are new to our brand, and then we'll focus on the PureMatch concealer. So let's start by talking about Jane Iredale. I think a lot of people think that Jane might have been a doctor or a nurse because we're sold in so many medical practices, but what she actually was a casting agent in the show business industry. She worked alongside Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola. She was very accomplished in her field. And what she saw was that the actors and actresses she was casting for roles were coming back with horrible skin from the makeup that they had to wear on set. And so she decided to create makeup that was good for the skin. This was in 1994. And now, 30 years later almost, we are in 50 countries around the world, and we've become recognized as the brand that set the standard for the clean beauty movement. We've influenced the cosmetics industry in such a wonderful way, and I'm really proud of that. And it's because we're using really high quality ingredients, high grade minerals, pharmaceutical grade antioxidants and vitamins. And of course, whenever possible, we use certified organic botanicals. This means they're never contaminated with insecticides, hormones, nothing's ever genetically modified. We're also testing the product extensively on human subjects, never animals, but we test it extensively to ensure that it will be as effective as we say it is and as safe as we say it is. We're also, just as important as what we put into the makeup are the things that we leave out. So we don't use talc, we don't use mineral oil, parabens, phthalates, no synthetic perfumes. Everything about the brand is clean. We're also committed to doing a sustainable practice in that we refuse to use plastic packaging wherever possible because we know it's not good for the environment. Instead, we reduce the use of plastic and opt to use rather than virgin plastic. We will use recycled plastic or recycled paper, post-consumer resin, materials like that are much more sustainable. We also have componentry like our famous compacts that can be refilled and reused over and over again. And then, of course, we recycle in our own homes as employees of the company, and we recycle at our corporate office in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. We're also known for our sun protection, which is a very important element to anti-aging and keeping your skin healthy. We use physical, not chemical sun protection. It's broad spectrum, so it protects both against UVA and UVB rays. And it's water resistant for up to 40 minutes under moving water, and it'll still maintain its efficacy. We're recommended by the Skin Cancer Foundation, and because we're using physical, not chemical sun protection, it's reef safe, which is a very important element to our environmental standards. So If anybody has questions about this, please feel free to type them into your question box on today's Zoom call, and I can answer them live, or one of our professionals at Lovely Skin or Jane Iredale can answer them for you. So let's talk about the star product for the day, and that's our PureMatch Concealer. I have to tell you guys, this is probably the most ambitious concealer launch we've ever done at Jane Iredale. In the past, we've made lots of different kinds of concealers, and they've been effective, but most of the time they've been very corrective focused. So they had a very peach undertone, or they were geared towards neutralizing undertones like redness or gray or ashiness around the eyes, or for covering blemishes. But this is the most universal concealer that we've ever launched. And as you can see, it can be used in a variety of different ways. It has a wonderful ingredient deck. But what people love about it is you don't just have to conceal under the eyes with it. It's not just for concealing. It can be used to conceal, to define, to highlight or brighten. It also goes on quickly and easily, and it matches the skin. So rather than just being for correction, this comes in tones that actually matches the undertone and the depth of the skin. So when you put it on, it blends in tracelessly into the skin and looks like part of your complexion. So it's a much easier concealer to use than a lot of other concealers that are in the market today. It comes in 16 different shades, which is by far the most shades we've ever launched in a concealer before. And it's versatile. So you can just use it. You can use it to cover dark spots or discoloration on the skin. You can use it to cover acne. You can use it under the eyes. You can use it around the mouth. Anywhere that you need to use it, you can get it. It's also medium buildable coverage. So you can put a little on, blend it out and get great results, or you can layer a little more on top and get even more coverage if you'd like to. Here's all the colors that it comes in, and you'll notice that all of these colors are either warm or neutral. So this is great because it's covering a variety of different color spectrums in the skin. And what we've found is that people with cool undertones work very well with a neutral coverage, and it works quite well for eliminating excess redness without making the skin look unnatural or heavy. The ingredients, I want to just talk about them quickly, are really interesting. The first ingredient that we're using is Indian damar, and this is a resin that comes from the damar tree, a very unique tree that grows in all over the world, specifically parts of the Middle East. It grows very well. But what this does is it helps to condition the skin and to support the elasticity. It also helps to give it that beautiful finish when you put it on the skin. The next ingredient that we're putting in there is prickly pear extract. Now, I live in Texas, so this is a really familiar one to me. What this does is it delivers powerful antioxidant protection. So it's going to soften the skin, and it's going to help to deliver extra hydration to the skin. Antioxidants are great for getting rid of the free radicals that might damage the collagen and elastin of the skin. So this is definitely going to help with anti-aging as well. And then a proprietary blend of oils that are in there. This includes things like coconut alkanes, olive oil, sunflower oil, things that are really hydrating to the skin to prevent the skin from losing its natural moisture. But one of the things that you're going to love about the PureMatch Concealer is that even though it's hydrating, it doesn't look shiny on the skin. It actually goes on quite semi-matte and blends right into the skin. So I think these are some great images that show how well you can blend the product into the skin. You can see that there's a variety of colors that each of these models has put on, and at least one of the colors in each of the models really disappears. You can't even see it. And that's the key. When a color disappears, you know that that's your color. That's the one that you want to be using. So you can use it for concealing, which is going to match the skin. You can use it for visually lifting, which means you're going to brighten the skin and go a few shades lighter. Or you can use it for enhancing or shaping or defining the skin, going a bit darker than the skin. So a variety of different ways that you can use it on the skin. And I want to just show you at LovelySkin, one of the questions that we have from a lot of our consumers is, How do I know which shade is best for me? So at LovelySkin on the website, lovelyskin.com, you'll find tools like this. This is the Match and More chart, which has a variety of models, one which you would be able to identify. When you look at the models, check and see which one looks the most like the one you can identify, and then you can try the colors within the range. If you need help, of course, you can always call the customer service at LovelySkin, and they'll be able to help you through the process. But they're pretty easy colors to match. And one of the things you'll notice is that if you don't get an exact match, it'll still work quite well. Like I can wear number 8, I can wear number 9, I can wear number 7, and all 3 of them look really good on me. But you'll notice that it breaks it out into which color you're using for highlighting, which color you're using for matching, which color you're using for defining. There's also another image that I think is really cool on the LovelySkin website that shows different ways that models of different skin depths are using this product. So you can see a lot of options there to choose from, but we're never going to leave you high and dry. There's always going to be options to help you ensure that you can choose the right color. So I just want to show you a few before and afters, and then we can get into our demonstration. This is our lovely model, Naya. I was at this shoot when we were working, but you can see the first image, a lot of ashiness in the skin. Look how much more beautiful and warm and smooth her skin looks in the secondary pictures. So I love these images because they don't make the models look like they're wearing a lot of makeup. And of course, these are not retouched images. They just look like healthy skin, a healthy under eye. It makes the complexion look nice and fresh without looking like you're wearing a ton of makeup. I think this one is quite impressive. How amazing is that coverage up under her eyes, and how natural it still looks even with the coverage. And then that's all of the images that we have to show you. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some demonstrations on my lovely friend Charlie here. Now, Charlie has no makeup on. I've cleansed her face completely, and I've prepped her skin with some of our Beauty Prep cleanser, toner, moisturizer. I put a little hyaluronic serum on her to start with, so she has some nice, clean, hydrated skin. And I always recommend a hydrated complexion when doing things like this, because it gives you the ability to have a smooth surface for makeup to lay on. The first product that I'm gonna put on her is a little bit of our Hydra Pure Tinted Serum. This product is one of our best-selling foundations, and it's very sheer. I don't want to do a lot of coverage for her foundation because I really want to showcase for you the coverage that you can get from the actual from the concealers themselves. But I did want to put a little Hydra Pure Tinted Serum on her because I think that this product is a great basis for making the skin look really fresh when you do the makeup. Hydra Pure has hyaluronic acid, enzyme CoQ10, olive squalane. It really drenches the skin with lots of moisture and plumps up the cuticle to give a very youthful effect to the skin. So people love Hydra Pure. It's one of our best-selling foundations. So I'm just going to blend this on, and you can see it's very sheer. There's not a lot of coverage in it. Well, people don't really use it as much for the coverage as they do for that plumping effect that it does for the skin. And this is going to give her face a perfect surface so that when we do her PureMatch concealer, it'll really blend well right into the skin. I'll also take a little bit of that onto your neck. And by the way, Charlie's using shade number 2 in the Hydra Pure Tinted Serum is her shade. So that's going to look really beautiful. And I'll also put a little close gently on the eyelids. Look up at the ceiling and up under her eyes. I always like to start in those areas with plenty of hydration as well. So you can see she doesn't look like she's wearing any makeup really. Her skin looks nice and dewy and glowy. But now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use her match shade. Her match shade is number 6, and that's a neutral undertone. And the way that we can use this product is we can go in and cover individual dark spots. Say, for example, right here, we have a little dark spot, and I can go in and just tap it on with the doe foot applicator, and you can see that it's gone. And then I can just tap with my fingers, or I can tap with a brush and blend it out. Let's do it again. Right here and here. You can see that there's a couple of spots, and we're just going to go in, dot it on, and blend it right out. And you can see it gives a beautiful coverage. Now, if we wanted to cover a larger area, say, for example, somebody has a good amount of hyperpigmentation or discoloration, I can also put the product either on the side of my hand or on a non-porous surface and use it like a foundation. Now I'm getting a little bit more of the concealer, and I'm just going to blend it onto her whole outer face, shearing it out like a foundation. And you can see it's giving beautiful coverage that works quite well. Turn this way again. And I'll use a little bit more over here. And again, I'm using our blending and contouring brush to just stipple the product all over the areas where she needs extra coverage. It blends seamlessly into the skin. I'll take a little up on the forehead. Now, Charlie likes a full coverage foundation, but sometimes she'll wear some of her freckles showing through because she has a couple of natural freckles that are really pretty. It really just depends on the mood, how you'd like to do it.
A couple?
Just a few.
Just a few.
So that's her match shade. So you can see now her skin is very even using the match shade. Now, if I wanted to go back in and put some light on her face, which is an absolute necessity for me, I always like using a lighter shade. I'll go in with some of the number 2, which is the next shade lighter. It's actually 4 shades lighter than her foundation. And you could apply it with the doe foot applicator and draw some lines of light in a couple of specific places. Here, here, here. And all of those areas that we're putting the light, what that does is it creates a lifting effect on her face. And then I'll go in with my blending and contouring brush, and I'll tap that out. And by using the brush, what it really does that I think is lovely is it creates a very flawless dispersal of that light. So it's leaving the coverage, but it's dispersing out any lines of demarcation. And you can see it just makes her under eye look quite flawless. Makes the top of that cheekbone look lifted, fuller. The other thing that I think people always love about this product is that even though you're getting extraordinary coverage, it doesn't feel like you're wearing anything. And I think that that's important. If it feels like you're wearing something, then there's something wrong. You really want it to be weightless on the skin. Perfect. So let me look up for you just a second. Just blend the inner corners of your eyes a bit more. Open. And look directly into the camera for me. Gorgeous. So now we have lots of light under her eyes. I'm going to put a little bit of extra light just here in this corner. It recesses a bit more than the other side. And I want to take that up just a bit. You know, we're seeing a lot of this kind of action on social media right now. If you're liking that glass complexion with the lots of lifting and highlighting, this is a great product combination to do it with. So we've added light to the areas that we want. We've done the coverage in the areas that we want. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with her Define color, which is number 10. And that is 4 shades darker than her number 6 that I used for her match color. And we can dot this product on, dot, 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 to get the coverage that we want. Or we can line it on. But you can see that the colors, it's not that dark of a color. It's just a few shades deeper than her skin. But look at the contour that we're getting under her cheek when we do this. Now, I know that there's some makeup artists out there that loves to do dramatic contouring. If you like to do dramatic contouring and you feel confident with going with an even deeper color, then by all means go for it. You're welcome to do it that way. I personally don't go too dark with my contour colors because I like the contours to look a little bit softer, more natural. But as you can see, this really has a nice blending onto the skin. It looks slightly more sun-kissed. I'll also take a little bit of it up in the temples. Let's go this way. Turn you a little bit further. Perfect. And I'm going to tap and blend. And I'll take it up into the temples as well. So now she has some nice prominent cheekbones that are really popping out nicely. The other place that I think is a great place to put contouring if you want to define is underneath the outer edge of the jawline right here to make the jawline look a little sharper. Let's go this way to the other side. Right under the jawline, right there. And you can see the color is so subtle, it doesn't look too dark or too heavy for her skin. Beautiful. The other place that people are finding that they love doing a bit of deeper color these days is along the edges of the hairline, like so. And again, I put some thin lines of color there. And then I just go in with my blending and contouring brush and I blend it out. And that really shows up nicely against her skin. Beautiful. So that's the highlighting or the brightening, the defining or the contouring, and of course the match or just the basic concealing that we've done. I'm going to go back in now and add some color to this look. And I thought since we're going into the holidays soon, I would bring out our fabulous holiday palette and we could use that on Charlie. I think you'd love to wear the products. They'll look really beautiful on you. Hold on just a second. Very nice. All right. Now, if you've done, do we have any questions so far that people are coming up with, Chrissy?
It's mostly just asking about how to ensure that the concealer doesn't settle into fine lines would be one of the most common.
So any concealer, and I always say this, any concealer, no matter how good or how expensive it is, will settle into fine lines because the skin around the eyes is constantly moving. So as we smile and we make expressions, little bits of product will always settle into fine lines. It doesn't matter whether you're using the most expensive concealer or the cleanest or the most stage makeup concealer, any of them will. The key is that when that starts to happen, remember to do your tapping. We tap, 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 tap out the under eye and just press the product out of the little fine lines and disperse it back out onto the skin. And if you do it a few times, after a while, you won't have to worry about it looking like you've done anything anymore. It'll just kind of permanently stay in place after you've done it a few times. But I use our Flux sponge from Jane Iredale as one of my favorite products to go back in and kind of do blending that I need to blend. And I also love, when I'm done applying concealer around the eyes, one of my favorite little hacks is I like to get our amazing base in ivory, which is the lightest color, and pop a little of that over the top of it to make the eye really come to life. Now that's not something for everybody, but it's kind of a fun makeup trick that people love when I do. Ivory Amazing Base is probably my most commonly used concealing product. And when I look up at the ceiling, when I dust over the top of the concealer with that kind of sets it in place and gives it a little bit more longevity. It also catches any fallout that might come when I'm doing my eyeshadows on her, which is a lot of fun. So now, do we like the way that her complexion looks? I think it looks really pretty.
Beautiful.
All right, so let's go back in and put some color now. For her cheeks, we're going to use the Holiday Kit. For her cheeks, I'm going to get my fan brush. I have to tell you, the Passion blush that's in this kit is by far the most pigmented blush that I think we've ever launched. It's really intense and really beautiful, but right now, blush is a big thing. We're having a big kind of revival of highly placed blush like we did back in the 70s and the 80s, and it's so beautiful on the cheeks, so much fun to see. So we're putting the color with the fan brush all up in the top of the cheekbone, up into the temples, and into the hairline. And if you feel like you need to blend it a little closer to the eye, but you don't want to get it too bright, again, get your Flux sponge, and you can go back in and blend and apply, blend and apply. And look at how beautiful that color is turned this way. Really gorgeous on her cheeks. Turn this way. I'll put a little back up here on these cheeks as well. I love using corals on Charlie's skin. I think she has a great undertone for it. And, you know, when you have a hydrated complexion underneath the color, then that makes it even easier to blend things together. Touch them up if you need to. And I'll pull some down into the apple of her cheek. Beautiful. I'll go a little darker. A little bit more intense. How does your skin feel?
Well, it feels light and good. Like I don't have a lot of makeup on. That's what I like about it. It's not heavy.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful on. I'll take a little hint in the high point of the hairline, a little under her chin, and now let's go into her eyes. Now, before I do any eye makeup on her, what I'd like to do is go in with a bit of her match color that I used for her concealer, number 6, and I'm going to put some of that on her eyelids. And I'll be honest, the way that I typically apply concealer to the eyelids is I use my fingers, because I want to really blend it and blend it and blend it until it's completely kind of sheerly dispersed all over the whole eyelid. That's another wonderful use for the PureMatch concealer that people are loving, is it makes a great eyeshadow base. Again, because of its adherence, because of that slightly more matte finish, it's a great product to use. Shadows adhere to it really well. So her eyes are nice and covered now. And I'm going to go in with the lightest shadow from this kit. I'm going to use, it's called Kindness. And I can put it on with the crease brush, applying it all over her lid this way. Or if I wanted to, I could just dust it all over her whole eye with a dome brush or with another kind of brush, completely covering her eye with the product. I could even get one of our blending and contouring brushes and lay it on with that. Because I want the color all over her eye, like an eyeshadow base. You can see that it looks really fresh and warm. Don't be afraid to go deeper, even on the brow bone, with a color like this, because it's not so deep that it looks heavy. It just looks like a soft, bronzy flesh tone. Open. Very nice. I'll get that same color with my smudge brush. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll go in with the deeper color next to it. This is called Curiosity. And I'll put the Curiosity on the outer corner of her eye and work it up and out towards the outer corner of her brow bone, darkening the whole outer eye with this color. Open. You can see that elongating action that I do makes the outer eye look really pretty. Lifting it from the corner of the eye to the corner of the brow. It's such a subtle color. Turn this way. Sorry about the noise out there. The garbage man is taking out my trash. All right, now I'm going to get the deeper color that I used in the corners of her eyes, the Curiosity, look up the ceiling, and I'm going to take it underneath her eyelid, right along the lash line, and I'm going to line her under eyes with that color, really creating a beautiful intensity. You can see using this as an eyeliner is a lot softer than using a pencil under her eyes. Sometimes pencils or liquid under the eyes can look too dark, too heavy. A soft shadow under the eye is a nice alternative because it lifts the eye a bit more by keeping the under eye not so deep and heavy. Wow, that's gorgeous on you, Charlie. I think I have one of these palettes. I'm going to give you one because I want to see you wearing this tomorrow night for your holiday party that you're going to.
Thank you. Love the way that looks.
Really pretty, isn't it?
Really nice.
And then let's go in with the deepest color that's in there, the purple. And that purple color is going to go just in the outer corner of the eye, just on the lash line. Now, if you want to make it look more intense, you can, just a second for me, look up the ceiling. Good. If you want to make it look more intense, you can wet it with hydration spray. Close gently. But I really don't need to intensify it too much. We're keeping it subtle. It's just going in the outer corner, barely. Open. Good. Right there. And then I'm going to show you something that I don't get to do very often, which I think is a lot of fun. I'm going to use this bronzy color that's in here, and I want you to see it out of the direct light. The bronzy tone has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's a warm, sultry color, and we're going to put it in here on the inner corner of the brow and work it towards the crease just a bit. We're giving her some structure, creating a nice smoky intensity. Look up at the ceiling. Good. Right here at the inner edge of the brow and working it towards the inner nose.
Shawn, what brush is that you're using right now?
the crease brush.
Perfect.
And
Thank
the
you.
crease brush is probably one of our most popular eyeshadow brushes. People love it because it gives a nice dispersal of color without ever looking too heavy or too dark. It also doesn't leave lines of demarcation, but rather kind of nice dispersed shadows. Areas of color rather than lines of color. And look at that. How amazing is that looking on her? Turn this way for me. Now, there's also a pearl powder in here that's been getting lots of attention because if you're an old Jane Iredale fan, you probably remember that back in the day, we did some pearl powders that were very well received, and then we discontinued them, and everybody was like, are you ever going to bring back the pearl powder? Well, we brought it back in this palette, and it's a lot of fun because it's pearlescent white. So I'm going to use that in a couple of places on her. Look down for me. I'm going to put some on the inner corner of her eye to open the eye wide open, like so. Look down. Inner corner, right next to the nose.
And what brush is that you're applying the highlight with?
This is the Deluxe Shader brush, which is another popular brush for us. Really easy brush to use. It's a flat brush. I'll also put a little bit of that up in the brow bone. Just a hint under her brow. Keeping it very soft. Like so. And then I can also take a bit of this product with my fan brush and go in and do a little highlighting on the top of that blush that I did, kind of waking it up a bit more. Increasing the luminosity on her skin is what this product does. It's just pure luminosity. Really gorgeous on. Lots of shimmer and glow. Beautiful. Now, we've used the palette on her eyes, on her face, on her skin. I'm going to go back to that PureMatch, and I want to do one little bit more of application of the PureMatch in some distinct places. We want to kind of make sure that Charlie's brows are popping. So I'm going to use her light color, her brighten color, number 2, with my camouflage brush. And I'm going to go in at the top of her brow and just create a little bit of a line of definition up here that's lighter than the brow. And then come in and blend it out. Let's do it on the other side. A line of definition that goes along the top of the brow. And then blend it out. And as you can see, when you put that little bit of light there, what it does is it creates a nice dramatic sharpness to her brow. You can even do it on the underside of the brow here. It's especially beautiful if your brows are microbladed because it's covering up any depth that might be there and creating that kind of really sharp, snatched brow. I don't know another word to say it other than snatched, because that's what they call it in the industry. Just makes it look so nice and tight. Take a little bit more here in the corner of the eye. A little bit more here. So the beauty of using this concealer formula is it's not just something that you're putting underneath your makeup to define or to hide or conceal. You can also go back at the end of the makeup and lay over the top of eyeshadows, lay over the top of lipsticks, things like that, to kind of use it like an eraser in areas that you don't want color to be, and to brighten things back up. So her eyes her shadows are finished on her eyes. I want to do one last thing to them. I'm going to get some of our 24 karat gold, which has always been a popular product for us.
I love that.
Yeah, it's such a good fun thing. I'll take it and just tap it with my finger. I'll get it off the lid And I'll pop the color right in the very center of the movable part of her lid, right where she blinks, like a little flash of light. Every time she opens and closes, you can see it. Open. And now when she blinks, she has a little bit more fire in her eyes there. How gorgeous is that? Let's tap some liner just in her upper lashes. We'll do black brown for her pencil. Close gently. And I'm going to put it right on the top lash line. Not even all the way across, just about halfway in. Close gently. Right on the top lash line. Our pencils are so popular because they're made from conditioning waxes and oils that never pull the skin. They're very hydrating. Then we'll do a little mascara just on her top lashes. Our Beyond Lash Mascara has been getting lots of wonderful reviews, so I'm glad that you guys are liking it. It makes me happy. This is by far my favorite lash formula that we've ever launched. Look straight ahead. I'm going to put some mascara just on your top lashes. Perfect.
I love the little business card tip you're showing us there.
This is an old trick of mine that everybody who knows me knows that I do this. It just keeps the mascara keeps the mascara from getting all over the upper lid when you're doing the mascara.
That's genius.
It also gives you a surface so that you can comb out the lashes and lift them up a little bit more, which is a lot of fun. Look at me. Beautiful. Now, the piece de resistance, the really fun finishing part of this look that I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of our new Color Luxe lipsticks. And the color that we've chosen to use for this is Poppy. Charlie was asking for a good orange lipstick. And I said, this is by far my favorite orange that I think we've ever launched. So I can't wait to show it to you all. The Color Luxe lipsticks have been a really well-received product for us. They've got a great ingredient deck, lots of hydration. There's cocoa butter in them, which makes them hold on to moisture really nicely. There's also Portulaca Pelosa, which is also known as the Kiss Me Quick flower, also the purslane flower. What this is an annual that you'll see in a lot of people's gardens, but it's great because it helps with the collagen and elastin of the lips, making them stay more smooth, eliminating fine lines and wrinkles in the lips. And then there's also some sunflower oil in here, which is excellent for preventing transepidermal water loss and keeping the lips nice and hydrated. It's a creamier and shinier formula than what we've done in the past. So everybody's loving how beautiful it is on the lips. And this is gorgeous. Just a second. I'll let you touch your lips together. Beautiful. Let's go a little fuller. Charlie likes a full lip.
What brush are you using to apply her lipstick today?
I'm using a brush we know.
I saw that too. That's okay. Is there a close one?
It's the original Sable lip brush. And when I go to partner locations, if I can find one, I buy them from partners. I will buy it's even though it's our product, we don't make them and we haven't made them for years. I'm working with our product development team, by the way, to try to get them to bring it back because it's my favorite lip brush, but it's like a small lip brush. The closest thing you'll find to it that I think is a really good alternative is we have a retractable lip brush. But I don't use the retractable lip brush as often because I get lazy and I don't want to pull up the little retraction thing. So it's I don't know. Call it nostalgia. I love our history as a brand. This is really beautiful on you, Charlie. The color is turning out so pretty. All right, touch them together one more time. Yeah. What do you think of the color? You like the way it looks? Really
Love
beautiful.
the color.
Now you have a really luminous complexion. If you wanted to go in when you're done and mattify it a little bit more, of course, you can dust over with a bit of Pure Press base just in the areas, or with some Pure Matte or Amazing Matte, which is our mattifying powder that's made with organic pulverized rice starch. A lot of people don't realize that we have those kinds of powders within the line. They're wonderful for just kind of touching up in the areas that you don't want as much shine, like in the center of the forehead, the center of the nose, the areas that you want the face to look a bit more matte. Right now, we're seeing a return to a more matte complexion, but the tops of the cheeks are still staying more luminous. So it's kind of fun because we can combine luminous and matte together now, which really makes the skin look beautiful. Charlie, I think you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Oh,
Feels fantastic.
yes.
Excellent.
I love this lipstick and wanting this color.
So does anybody have any questions about any of the products that we use today?
We have some questions. Rachel had a really good question. She wanted to know what you can do or use to hide the infamous 11 lines on your forehead.
Aha. So you can put light inside of the 11s if you want to. And that works really well. I mean, I get mine Botoxed, which is kind of the most common practice. But if you put a little bit of the lightest color, like number 1 or 2, I don't know what her skin depth is. So if she has a deeper skin, then it would be incrementally lighter than her foundation color. But a line inside of each of the 11s and then just tap it and blend it so that the inside of the line is lighter, then that makes it look less deep. Remember that light pushes forward or elevates and dark recesses or pushes back. That's a universal law of makeup artistry that everybody should know.
Perfect. We had a couple of people who were wondering if you could explain the differences between the Enlighten Plus concealer, or the Enlighten concealer, the one in the tube, the new one, and the PureMatch concealers, and why you might choose one over the other.
So if you're looking for really intense coverage, say you have severe hyperpigmentation, dark spots, discoloration, then you're going to go to Enlighten Plus because it's our most opaque, most high coverage concealer. It also has SPF in it. So people
like you covered that.
Yeah.
My dark spot over there.
Well, the dark spot, that dark spot was
Yeah.
easy. I was able to cover that pretty well with the PureMatch, so it worked quite well. The difference in the two formulas is the PureMatch, it covers and it gives kind of great blending. It's not as opaque as the Enlighten Plus. The other difference is the Enlighten Plus, people love using it on dark spots and dark circles because Enlighten Plus has quinoa, which fades the darkness and tones down puffiness. So if you wear it on a regular basis, there's ingredients that actually treat the darkness while it covers the darkness, which is very popular. But it's not as easy of a product to apply. It's in a squeezable tube, so you have to have an auxiliary brush. While PureMatch, you have a wand right there where you can just kind of tap it on and blend it out with your fingers if you want. So each of them has their own distinct benefits. I hope that answers the question.
I think so. So today on Charlie, you used the HydraPure before you did her concealer parts. If someone was using the Beyond Matte foundation or Glow Time, would you go in with the concealers first and then the foundation, or foundation and then conceal?
So I typically do foundation. If it's a liquid foundation, especially, I'll do the foundation first and then the concealer, because very often you don't know how much concealer you need until you put your foundation on.
Great tip.
You'll put the foundation on first and then you'll go, oh, well, I covered a lot of what I needed. I don't need that much. But the other thing is that when you put the liquid on top of the concealer, it's going to move it around. So when you put the concealer on top of the foundation, you can really precision put it exactly where you want it and it stays in place. Pure Press Base or Amazing Base are powders. You can also go over the top of those with the concealer, but very often people will like to put the powders on top of the concealer because it's kind of you're not disturbing the actual placement of the concealer by having to blend a liquid into it when you do a powder. It's a little easier of an application.
Does the PureMatch concealer do well to mitigate redness in the skin?
It does. Yeah, it's really beautiful over redness. But remember, if you have a lot of redness all over your whole face, rather than putting concealer all over your whole face, my recommendation would be to use our Hydro Pure color corrector, the green one, because that neutralizes and targets the redness, and then you can go back in and not have to use as much concealer or foundation. So
I love that product. I use that almost every day just to take the edge off of the redness in my complexion.
yeah.
One last question, I think really about placement of concealer under the eyes. When you're looking to conceal under eye circles, are you applying concealer directly on top of the under eye circle or in specific areas around the under eye circles?
So typically, if somebody has a lot of severe darkness under their eyes, now Charlie doesn't, so she was easy. But if somebody has extreme darkness under their eyes, I don't want to use a lighter concealer just to cover the darkness. I don't want to just go lighter because if you put light over dark, sometimes it can turn gray. So using a peachy concealer, this is another one where Enlighten Plus or Enlighten 1 or Enlighten 2, one of those products will work good for the dark circle because the peachy orange pigment neutralizes the gray black dark circle. So I'll use a peach colored concealer to neutralize the gray, and then I'll go back in with a highlighter here, here in the areas that I want to make it kind of lift. I'll use light to do that.
Perfect. I'm just going to double check my rundown of questions here to make sure that we got everyone's, but I think that we did, which means it's time for that promised second giveaway.
Yay.
Oh, let's see. We maybe have one more question coming through. Oh, okay. Actually, this is a great question before we do the giveaway. Sorry, guys. I'm just a big tease today. What about bags underneath the eyes? Like, how would you conceal those versus a dark circle?
So the only way you can kind of minimize the appearance of a bag is if there's a physical crease under the eye. You can put light in the same way that you would your 11s. You can put light in the inside of the crease to pop it out. Now, be mindful that if you're in lighting that's directly in front of you, and you do that it might cover it, that it looks great. But if you go outside or into an area where the light is over here, or the light is above you or in some other area, then you might be able to knock off that light color that you put in there. So my recommendation is don't go too severe when you're putting light into a dark circle or into a dark like crease or a physical bag, because when you do that, sometimes it can look really obvious when you walk around in daylight or different areas of light. Using ingredients that will tone down the puffiness, I think, is a great idea. The Enlighten Plus has the quinoa, which tones down puffiness. Also, our Active Light Concealer, which is the one that comes in the pen like this. It has a little brush at the tip, is made with cucumber extract in it, so that tones down puffiness. So that might be a good option as well. This is a very sheer concealer. It doesn't have as much coverage as you're going to get from PureMatch or Enlighten or any of those. But if you're just concerned about the bag, then this might be a good alternative for you because it's not a lot of coverage, but it helps to tone down the puffiness. And then if you really want to address the puffiness, do what I do and go in and have a little filler put into the bag and pop it right out.
Yep. Okay, I have our winner, our next winner. So Sharon Fry, congratulations. You are the second winner of our PureMatch Shade Trio. So our education team is going to send you an email with instructions for you to send back your name, all your contact details, but most importantly, a selfie of yourself so that Shawn can custom shade match you, and then we'll send you those shades that he's selected for you. So congratulations. I also want to say thank you so much, Shawn and Charlie. Thank you so much for volunteering to be our beautiful model today. We are so fortunate to have you here to be able to educate us and give us some tips and tricks. And we just really thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
If anyone has any additional questions about Jane Iredale, you can contact our LovelySkin customer care department, customercare@lovelyskin.com. They'd be happy to help walk through any questions about the makeup or application or how to properly shade match and get you going off in the right direction. Well, that's it for today. I appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, Shawn. Bye, Charlie.
Bye-bye. Take care.